Is the Integrity Commission about to get a royal smackdown, or is Prime Minister Andrew Holness about to face the heat over his financial affairs? Buckle up, because we're diving into the drama of Judicial Review in Jamaica. And trust me, it's more dramatic than your average telenovela. A legal battle is brewing in Jamaica that could change the way politicians are held accountable forever. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is taking on the Integrity Commission in a fight that could rewrite the very rules of power. What happens when a Prime Minister challenges the very institution designed to investigate him? Could this legal showdown expose a massive loop in Jamaica's justice system? Hey, patriotic internet friends and family, welcome back to the channel. In this video, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is facing off with the Integrity Commission in a high-stakes legal battle that could reshape Jamaica's political landscape. Holness is challenging their investigation into his financial dealings, asking the Supreme Court to step in and stop it. But here's the twist. This isn't about whether he's guilty. It's about whether the commission even has the power to investigate in the first place. Will the court side with him, or will justice prevail? Stick around, because this showdown is just getting started. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more juicy updates on Jamaica's political and social scene. Welcome all patriotic Jamaicans. The movement continues. Make we get into it now. Let's kick it off. So here's the deal. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the big man in charge of Jamaica, isn't happy with the Integrity Commission. You might remember them as the government body responsible for investigating allegations of corruption and financial misconduct. Well, right now, they're investigating Holness's financial dealings. Ouch. But shocker, Holness isn't a fan of being investigated. So what does a Prime Minister do when he's feeling the heat? He goes straight to the Supreme Court, of course, and asks for an administrative order, basically a legal request to stop the Integrity Commission from digging into his financial affairs. He's asking the court to review the actions of the Integrity Commission. But what does that even mean? Well, my friends, that brings us to today's big question. What is a judicial review, and why is it so important in this legal showdown? Judicial Review explained. Let's break it down. A judicial review is basically when a court steps in to make sure that government actions and decisions are legal. So if you're a public body like the Integrity Commission and you decide to do something that could affect someone's rights, well, a court can review whether you followed the law. In simple terms, did you break the rules? Did you do it fairly? Now here's where it gets juicy. One of the major reasons the court might say, nope, you can't do that, is if what you did was ultra vires. No, I know what you're thinking. What in the legal lingo is ultra vires? Well, it's a fancy Latin term that just means, wait for it, you did something that was beyond your legal powers. So, for example, if the Integrity Commission is investigating Holness over something it doesn't have the authority to investigate, boom, Judicial Review could step in. Enter Dr. Lloyd Barnett, a constitutional law expert who's basically Jamaica's own legal superhero. He's the guy who's breaking down what's at stake in this case. Barnett says that historically, judicial reviews have been around for over 150 years, and they've been making sure that public bodies don't overstep their bounds. Fun fact, judicial reviews were first established around 150 years ago to make sure that government actions were kept in check. Since then, they've been an important tool for citizens fighting against unlawful decisions. And now it's Holness's turn to use it. Well, sort of. The court's power. So what happens next? Well, Holness isn't just asking the court to review his financial investigation. He's also asking the court to pause the investigation until the legal questions are sorted out. This could be a game changer. Imagine walking into a courtroom and saying, "Excuse me, Your Honor, could you please stop this thing from happening because I'm not sure if it's legal." It's kind of like calling for a timeout in a high-stakes game of legal football. If the court decides that the Integrity Commission went too far, maybe they didn't follow the rules or acted beyond their powers, they can issue remedies. These include injunctions to stop them, declarations to say what's right or wrong, and in extreme cases, they could even strike down a law or rule provisions unconstitutional. And folks, that's where the fireworks happen. Now, judicial reviews are not about whether Holness is guilty or not, but rather whether the Integrity Commission followed the correct legal process in investigating him. It's about ensuring that everything was done fairly and within the law. Keynote and pay attention to all of that. What happens next? So, where are we now? Well, Holness has filed for leave to apply for a judicial review. This means the court will first decide if the case is worth hearing. If they say, yep, let's go, then the full legal showdown begins. Will Holness's legal team convince the court that the Integrity Commission went too far? Or will the Commission's investigation be allowed to continue, potentially unearthing some very uncomfortable truths for the Prime Minister? And Dr. Barnett has pointed out something important here. This case could set a major precedent for judicial reviews in Jamaica. If the court rules in Holness's favor, it could have serious implications for how public bodies operate in the future. So will the Integrity Commission continue its investigation, or will Holness successfully put a stop to it? Stay tuned, because this one is far, far from over. And believe me, there's more twists ahead. Here's a summary of the key takeaways and key points. 1. What is a judicial review? A court process to check if public actions were legal and fair. B. Can stop actions or declare them invalid if they're ultra vires or unfair. C. Involves permission to apply, and if granted, full review follows. 2. Why is the Integrity Commission versus Holness case important? A. Holness has asked the Supreme Court to review the Integrity Commission investigation of his finances. B. The court will determine if they overstepped legal bounds. 3. Possible remedies in a judicial review. A. Injunction to stop actions. B. Declaration of right or wrong. C. Strike down unconstitutional laws. 4. What's next? A. The court will decide if the case is worth hearing. B. If they do, the full battle will unfold. Want to know more about how this case could reshape Jamaica's political and legal landscape? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And drop a comment below. Do you think the court will side with Holness, or will justice prevail? Let's talk about it. Here are some questions that you might have regarding the Integrity Commission versus Andrew Holness case, along with detailed answers that explain the situation, the legal process, and the potential implications. Question number 1. What exactly is a judicial review, and why is it so important in this case? Answer. A judicial review is a legal process where a court case examines the actions of a public body, like the Integrity Commission, to determine whether those actions are lawful. The key here is that a judicial review doesn't question whether the decision made was right or wrong, but whether the process of making that decision was legal, fair, and within the body's powers. In this case, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is asking the court to review whether the Integrity Commission's investigation into his financial affairs is within their legal authority. If the court finds that the commission overstepped its bounds, acted ultra vires, they could stop the investigation altogether. Question number 2. What does ultra vires mean, and how does it apply to this case? Answer. Ultra vires is a Latin term meaning beyond the powers. In legal terms, it refers to actions taken by a person or a body that go beyond the authority granted to them by law. In Holness's case, he's arguing that the Integrity Commission may be acting ultra vires. This is, they might be conducting an investigation into his financial dealings without the legal power to do so. If the court agrees, it could result in the investigation being halted. This is one of the primary reasons for asking for a judicial review in the first place. Question number 3. Why is Andrew Holness asking for a judicial review and not just defending himself in the investigation? Answer. Holness is not asking the court to defend him from any accusations directly. Instead, he's asking the court to intervene in the process of the investigation. He wants the Supreme Court to review whether the Integrity Commission has the proper authority and whether their actions so far have been fair and legal. This is a procedural challenge, meaning Holness is questioning the way the investigation is being carried out, not the specific allegations against him. He is seeking a legal ruling to stop the investigation until these questions are resolved. Question number 4. What happens if the court rules against the Integrity Commission? Answer. If the court finds that the Integrity Commission overstepped its legal authority, i.e., that their actions were ultra vires or unfair, they could issue a few potential remedies. These include A. An injunction to stop the investigation from proceeding. B. A declaration that the commission acted unlawfully. C. In extreme cases, the court could strike down certain laws or provision that it finds unconstitutional or in violation of fairness. This would be a huge victory for Holness, but a significant blow to the Integrity Commission, potentially limiting their powers in the future. Question number 5. Why is this case so significant for Jamaica's legal and political system? Answer. This case could have far-reaching implications for both Jamaica's political landscape and its legal system. If the court rules in Holness's favor, it could set a precedent for how public investigations are carried out, particularly those involving high-ranking officials. It could redefine the balance of power between government bodies and the public, especially in terms of what happens when those in power feel an investigation is unfair or outside the law. Additionally, it may spark debate about whether judicial reviews are too easily granted or whether constitutional reform is needed to ensure fairness in such legal processes. Question number 6. What's the role of Dr. Lloyd Barnett in this case, and why should we care about his opinion? Answer. Dr. Lloyd Barnett is a constitutional law expert who's closely following the case. His insights are crucial because he's an authority on how Jamaican law interprets the balance of powers between government agencies, politicians, and the judiciary. He's been advocating for reforming the Judicial Review process, arguing that the permission process to apply for judicial review, the need to get leave from the court, can sometimes be unnecessary. Barnett's analysis suggests that the court's ruling could reshape how future cases involving high-profile figures are handled, especially in terms of transparency and accountability. If he's right, this case could set a major legal precedent for Jamaica. Question number 7. How long will this legal process take? Could it delay the investigation? Answer. The timeline for judicial reviews can be unpredictable. First, Holness has applied to the court for permission to seek a judicial review. If the court grants permission, the full case will be heard and a final decision will be made. Judicial reviews are usually prioritized because they deal with fundamental rights and public welfare, so the court may act quickly. However, delays are possible, especially if the case involves complex legal questions about constitutional powers or the scope of an investigation. If the court grants Holness's requests and rules in his favor, it could pause the investigation for weeks or even months, depending on the legal complexities. Question number 8. What if the court rules in the favor of the Integrity Commission? Answer. If the court decides that the Integrity Commission acted within its powers and followed the correct process, the investigation will likely continue. For Holness, that would mean having to fully cooperate with the investigation and possibly facing public scrutiny if any findings are made. On the flip side, the Integrity Commission would be vindicated in its efforts to ensure transparency and accountability in government. This ruling would also send a strong message about the independence of oversight bodies in Jamaica and their role in keeping politicians in check. Question number 9. Could this case have wider consequences beyond Andrew Holness? Answer. Yes. This case could have major consequences for future investigations involving high-ranking government officials. If Holness succeeds, it could set a precedent for other politicians or public figures to challenge investigations they perceive as unfair or politically motivated. It might also lead to legal reform on how judicial reviews are granted in Jamaica, potentially making it easier or harder to challenge public bodies. The case could also spark discussions on government accountability and how much power the public has. This case could also spark discussions on government accountability and how much power the public has to hold politicians to account without fear of legal pushback. Question number 10. How do judicial reviews differ from constitutional reviews in Jamaica? Answer. A judicial review is a challenge against a decision or action taken by a public body, like the Integrity Commission, to see if it was lawful or fair. However, a constitutional review typically focuses on whether a law or a part of the Constitution itself is in conflict with the Constitution. The main difference is that in a judicial review, you need permission, leave. In a judicial review, you need permission. Permission is the same as leave. So anywhere you see permission, you can interchange permission with leave. In a judicial review, you need permission or leave from the court to even start the case. Whereas in a constitutional review, you don't need permission. However, both types of reviews can end up with similar remedies, such as striking down unconstitutional laws or halting an illegal process. In this case, Holness has chosen a judicial review, but some experts like Dr. Barnett think that constitutional review might have been a more direct route. I hope these questions and answers help clarify key points and address some of your common concerns you may have, providing more context for understanding the stakes of the case and the legal principles involved. Let me address this quick little issue. If you are a die-hearted PMP or a die-hearted JLP, this channel I go offend you a lot. Me I go say things we I go offend you a lot. You will be offended. This channel definitely now go be for you, cause guess what? Me I go call out your favorite political parties when them a do foolishness. Yes. So this channel is not a cheerleader for either of your two favorite political parties. This channel is a cheerleader for a better Jamaica, and Jamaicans want to see a better Jamaica. So yeah, if the PMP do good, me I go cover it and me I talk about it, me I big them up. If the JLP do good, me I go cover it, me I go big them up and me I talk about it. So if you cannot handle any form of constructive criticism in one objective way, this channel is definitely not for you. I realize a lot of people are not critical thinkers and they are not open-minded to hear a different perspective that may go against what they believe and what they like. You understand? So this channel is not to cater to your feelings and emotions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates and check out our other videos on Jamaica's political and social scene. Your support keeps us going. See you in the next video. One love, Jamaica.